So for the past couple of months, I've been on something like a spiritual journey of sorts, all to try and find the answer to one question. A question even ancient historians can't even agree on. But through my own analytical analysis, what if I told you I found that answer? Well, today I come to you guys with my answer to which kingdom is the best kingdom in Dynasty Warriors. Now, growing up, I was always a Shu fan. Dynasty Warriors 3 was my first game, and my first character was Zhao Yun. Cool design, cool moveset, he's on the cover of every single game, and the kingdom that he sided with was Shu. Shu is the good guy faction led by Liu Bei, who wants to rule through virtue and to restore the glorious Han Dynasty. So at first glance, Shu seems to be the obvious protagonist faction with good morals and virtues, right? But the more and more we go through the story mode, we actually find out this man is delusional. First and foremost, Liu Bei's main goal is to restore the Han Dynasty. But have we ever asked why? Literally everybody in the story believes that it's corrupt and wants to take that shit down. It's like trying to put a toxic relationship back together. That shit don't work. Secondly, we're told Liu Bei is a man of high moral standards, to then seeing him switch up on everybody he works with. Therefore, Liu Bei is a hoe. And he also abuses children. Evil. And just like the leader, let's go down the list. Arrogance personified, war crimes, delusion times infinity, and don't even get me started on EDP over here. Also, every character in Shu is too busy snorting up that benevolence crack to realize how self-destructive their campaigns really are. Don't get me wrong though, Shu still has some of the most GOAT tier characters ever. And delusional or not, the cutscene where Jiang Wei twirls his spear atop Wuzhong Plain still gives me goosebumps to this day.
Then you will die in your cowardice!
Almost made me a believer. But then you look at the rest of the roster, and then it starts looking like a Shu daycare. A bunch of lame ass babies. Okay, while Liu Bei may not have been as righteous as they made him out to be, no one could argue that he wasn't a great ruler to his people and a charismatic figurehead. But then we start looking at his opposition and oh my cow or Cao, whatever the fuck. The true protagonist of the three kingdoms. By far the smartest leader, by far the most sensible leader, and by far the best thief. He's a shameless opportunist. Cao Cao's main goal is to unify China through military strength and order alone. And throughout the story, Cao Cao is a power-hungry devil that will do any and everything to get what he wants. But what separates him from a tyrant is how he values humanity and the sacrifices along his way. Like another GOAT character in historical fiction. Alright, but I've been talking too much about Cao Cao. Let's talk about the rest of the roster. Badass after badass after badass. And the girls? Okay, but actually, the characters in Wei kind of suck. Most of the characters are just super serious, so much so that the comedy relief characters end up being the best. Except for that guy, he's literally just dumb as f. This does not apply to the actual iconic badass characters with great story beats, but too many and we'll end up with a bunch of duplicate characters. In conclusion, Wei is the best. Ooh, but KC, what about Wu? 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 Well, like who? Listen here, motherfucker! Wu is like the homewrecker in any romance drama, because while Shu and Wei's goals directly conflict each other, Wu is just there, well, just because they want to be there. So anytime there's any significant progression between the main relationship, uh-oh, here comes Wu. Now you're probably looking at me like, then why is the title and thumbnail about Wu? Well, guess what? You just got pranked! Again, the best kingdom in Dynasty Warriors is Sun Quan. Behold, the most normal leader in all of the Three Kingdoms. He actually doesn't have any outstanding talents. He's just like me for real. In contrast to the other two leaders, he's by far the worst talent-wise. Like, I hate Liu Bei, but at least he had speech level 100. I mean, Quan is still an adequate leader. It's just that the other two are literally superheroes. The best aspect about him to me is that he is probably the most human ruler. He's constantly vulnerable and indecisive. We constantly see his growth through all the tragedy he goes through, and it makes us want to root for him. Plus, his wife's honkers are pretty big, so... Oh, but KC! How does this make Wu better than the others? Well, where Wei and Shu both have ideals that the respective casts act according with, Wu's ideals are...
Lu Xun, what does Sun Wu really mean to you?
Well, sir, it is the land where I've chosen to live.
Then tell me, what exactly is the land?
Well, that's...
What we call the land is large and wide, but we never really talk about most of the land that surrounds us. But at least, we know everything about Jiangdong. And everything about Sun Wu.
There's no standard way of life being preached here. It's simply to protect the Wu people and how they live, whatever the fuck that means. And as a result, you get potential for an interesting and diverse cast of characters. I mean, just look at all these personalities. A gangster pirate, a Chinese samurai, a carefree martial artist, Balrog from Street Fighter, Zangief from Street Fighter, and Mummy. And leading them all is a Yeah, I understand why they self-destruct at the end now. In conclusion, Jin is the best kingdom.